Alright, so we put quite a few miles on the new trans already, probably about, I don't know, probably 70 miles or something. And we have had decent luck on the highway. Transmission temp stays around 160 degrees and, you know, cruising back roads and whatnot. I was able to get it up to about 195, you know, town driving for quite a while. So everything has been good. Thing locks up. We have a good lockup switch. If I put it in second, should lock second here, and there we go. It is locked. So everything works as it should. So now we just need to get a decent set of injectors, and this truck is gonna get it sent away for the rust repair. And that's gonna be pretty expensive. So I need to, yeah, that's not looking forward to that. All right, so guys, it is the next day. I've already filled the thing up. You can see there's a boost leak there, and that bolt is taken care of, but that bolt right there is leaking. So, one, we're gonna need a new gasket, and two, make sure you check this on your own truck as well, guys, because a lot of these bolts go straight down into the intake and they don't seal in general, so you're probably gonna have to put RTV on a lot of these without knowing it. But we have a boost leak there, and we have a small boost leak there. Now they're very, 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 very minor, but they are there. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, we have the valve adjustments done, we've gotten everything within spec. I am going to throw everything back together, and we're gonna drive it. Well, actually, I think we're gonna pull the trans first, but I'm gonna have him order the new intake gasket. We're gonna have to get a new bolt because that bolt down there is super short. The RTV worked on the one it needed to, but unfortunately it's such a short bolt that you can't really get much clamping force on it. So we're gonna have to pull all of this back off. All right, so now that we're just waiting on parts for the other stuff, I had a bunch of errands to run today. Stupid little lantern flies. So we got all of this stuff back here. And then two pieces. I have a dash and a turbo. I'm just waiting on him to come get that. This stuff here I told you guys about. Bunch of stuff from the repo. Just got to get this stuff cleaned out. I got to trash all this stuff. I'm gonna go through it, see what's good, what's not. Probably end up donating it, and anything else, probably just gonna burn whatever's unsalvageable. But as opposed to just wasting everything and burning everything, it doesn't make sense to do that when I can give it to somebody in need or donate it to charity. I'm not that heartless. So I'll probably just end up donating a lot of this stuff. I've tried, I made my contact, I sent a message the other day. I haven't gotten anything back. I don't even give a shit anymore. I am not meeting anybody for this stuff either. So, but this, I gotta throw this and the turbo in the unit. I still have that. I'll show you guys over here. The VGT turbo. Both of these are sold and paid for. I'm just, like I said, just waiting on him to pick them up. It's kind of like an awkward haul to come over here to Pennsylvania, so we're trying to schedule something so you can come get the stuff. But these two I'm gonna leave in there. And that's the old VGT setup on the 12 valve. It was a really good setup, but now we have a fixed vane turbo. All right, she's all cleaned out. Let me know if y'all want an update video when this gets picked up. I think he said he's coming Saturday. So I'm gonna give him the back seat as well. So good front seats, good axle. Bed's questionable, but still okay. Good tail lights. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The cab's pretty shot unless he needs some certain panels. And I know he said he wanted the front section of the frame. So that'll be all gone. I was supposed to sell the harness, but guy never got back to me, so whatever. Definitely make a lot more money parting these things out than I do flipping them. So I think I might end up start doing that. If I can find these trucks for like 3 or 4 grand, part them out for about 8 to 9. All right, so we got all of the parts on order. I have the injectors. We don't know if we're gonna use them yet, but we have the intake plenum and all that on order, so we're gonna do everything as it comes apart. Today, what we're gonna focus on, because tomorrow I'm off. I think we're gonna take an off day tomorrow and take the kids out to Little Buffalo, something like that. So it's just one of those things. What we're gonna do today is get the trans out, because tomorrow the trans should be in, so I'll pick that up on Friday. So we got to get this stick shift out, all the little bullshit. It shouldn't take me more than maybe an hour, hour and a half to get this thing out. We got to remove the drive shaft, and we have to remove the cross member, a couple of bolts in there, the stick, the slave cylinder, and this transmission should bolt right in because he's already got an upgraded disc and the upgraded input shaft. So basically it's an NV5600 input shaft already. So that should go in. Once we get the trans in, we got to figure out what to do with the cross member. And then at that point, we'll probably just end up towing this thing out of here because we're going to be waiting on some parts from there. We need to get some drive shaft dimensions and the yoke for the NV5600 as well. So we're pretty much going to be putting this thing down. It'll probably be like 2 weeks-ish till this thing's done by the time all the parts come in. So we're going to get all that done, but rather than letting this thing sit around, we're going to take it back and install the parts slowly, and then come back in, see how it runs, do the injectors and, you know, the little things and the boost leak repair, and we will go. All right, so trans is out. Got it on the ground. Remember, he did have a big input shaft. We put that in there, kind of like went through and did like the front section rebuilt. So we put new thrust washers in and everything. Fifth gear, nut. Everything was good on the fifth gear side, and he ended up breaking, not the nut. I forget if I did a video on him pulling it apart, and he forgot to tighten the top bolt. He did the back section himself, put the new nut on and everything, and I don't know. Yeah, I think I did do a video on it. It's not the nut. It's actually something internal in the transmission. He broke fifth gear. So we kind of just slapped it back together. Well, he slapped it back together while I was working on something else, and it's getting a 5600 probably Friday. So if anyone is interested in this bad Larry, I think it's got 200 some thousand on it, but there is a rebuild sticker. Let me see. Right about there. So, and then also I forgot, this was from a previous endeavor. Something happened with that. Not sure. But I completely forgot about it, and I pulled it off, and I'm like, why is that still sitting there? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that happened. So if you want, probably if you throw this in or rebuild it, I'd definitely get a new front bell housing. You can still, you know, throw that in there, it'll line up and everything, but I personally don't recommend it. We knew that we were going to be upgrading, so we just kind of threw it in as is, but he didn't expect to be upgrading this soon. I'll show you guys Valair dual disc. I personally like the transmission. If you're sitting in traffic, basically to accelerate with this trans, it shifts a lot smoother than a south bend, but to accelerate with this dual disc, you really have to want to go. You can't just like give it a little bit of throttle. Like, you got to give it the beans and be expected to go. So if you're sitting in traffic, he said it does kind of get a little antsy. See back down in there. So we're going to do some tidying up on his truck as well. I need him to go and order a new boot because he ripped it and I want a new one. I'm going to pound this all flat. This was kind of ruined from a couple of other endeavors, not us, but I want this to be as flat and nice as possible, possibly re-drill the hole here and replace that boot. But here's the old shifter. He got a new one that kind of goes with it. So I'm going to get that thrown in the shop. Got all the tools cleaned up. Here's the drive shaft. We're going to need to get a new yoke. So that's why it doesn't matter that that's on the ground. And he says that you can put this in backwards. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to try to get him to order a tubular one. So as for bolting the trans in and getting the shifter and everything, that's the easy part. It's figuring out the drive shaft. We got to figure out the length and the new yoke and the cross member. Between those two things, this should be pretty simple of a swap. So I'm going to start getting everything packed up. I am done for the day. We're going to get cleaned up, and I'm going to get ready for my adventures tomorrow. And yes, I did do this mainly on the stones, by the way. Oh guys, there we go. There goes my Saturday. You will never see Otis again. Next big risk. Let's see what I buy next. Well, it is now Sunday. We are going to pick up the trailer to go pick up a car in Allentown. So I guess I'll bring you guys with that. You guys like the towing videos. Just a car, I guess, for the shop. So we'll see how this situation is when we get there, but we need to pull, you know, we need to go get the trailer and whatnot, and then we will head out, probably go get some lunch. I took the last 3 days off, so time to just kind of get out of the house and do something. I'll be back to work tomorrow. All right, all hooked up. We have a working winch. I got my bridle back on the trailer, and still haven't done anything with all this stuff. Liam's coming with us. We're gonna go get some pizza and then head out to Allentown. We got about an hour. It's not that bad. It's about an hour and a half. So I need to go buy some new sunglasses. Otis is gone. We have the jump pack, which I'm gonna put back in the bottom down here. But Chuck has been pretty much cleaned out for the most part. So let's get moving. Oh, I love fatty food before a long road trip. Pizza. All right, so we are at the pickup point. I'm gonna go over the transmission. So highway, it generally stayed in between like 170 and 171 until the end of the trip, and then it chilled around like 159, and then we came through town, came up to 165, so that's where we're at right now, about 105 minutes we've been driving and 98.6 miles. So trans is doing good. I know one of my sensors came unplugged, so that's why the ABS and brake light are on. All right, so you just got here now with the Volkswagen. I got the ramps out a little bit. Bridle is loosened up, so we'll be picking it up here in a couple minutes, but should take, I don't know, probably 20 minutes, hook up, call it a day, winch it up. Doesn't have a clutch, so it'll be all right. I'm gonna back up to it. All right, here she is, the Volkswagen. Stick. Make sure everything is good, wait for him to pull away, and we are good to go. All right, got Liam hitting the button. He's gotta learn to do this some point. All right, up, up, up. Come on, keep going till I say stop. Come on. All right, hold on. Just going nice and slow, making sure everything clears. Usually I use the bridles for it. He already had the front thing in. All right, keep going. We're gonna close this now. All right, bring her home all the way. Bring it home, bring it home all the way. Keep hitting. There we go. All right, hold on. All right, make sure this doesn't hit. It's gonna. All right, car is up and on. I had to climb out the window and then go back in the back door to get the window up. It doesn't clear in the front, but it does clear in the back. So we're gonna get this thing strapped down. I'm gonna try to get a little bit of, like right about there. A little bit of tension on the winch. Nothing crazy, because that's not, I don't really like those, but that's what he had set up, so that's what we did. All right, here you go. She is all strapped down. Make sure I got everything. This will be our tow adventure. Let's see what the trans does on the way home. Just for the record, I did not do that. There's some handprints on the hood. So I threw the J-hook bridle back here. And we're gonna get out of here now. All right, so we just hit some traffic. Here's the numbers. After about 80 minutes of driving, we are at 146 degrees on the trans temp, 193 on the coolant temp, so everything is awesome there. Mind you, I was loaded with the AC on, and the trans temp is actually taking it very well. I just saw it jump to 149 there a second. So, but we're at lower speeds. It's 74 degrees outside. It was like 70 most of the time, but it's doing all right for what it is. So for you guys wondering, this new trans is awesome. Traffic bridge shenanigans. All right, so you guys have seen generally what the, you know, the trans temp gets to by the top of the mountain. So I turned overdrive off, obviously, because we're climbing the mountain with, you know, a load, but I towed in overdrive the entire day. So we'll see. I know the coolant temp's gonna get up, you know, around probably 220, 230 by the top. I'm gonna put it in second. Give me a you know what, we'll hold it. We'll hold it. Let's just see what happens, right? I'll let you guys know at the top once when we see what the trans temp is. It looks like it's actually gone down. It was 160, now it's 159. So I'll zoom out a little bit. I know the qualities were zoomed out, but we're climbing the hill and we're gonna get to the top around, I'm gonna let off right about now because we're almost to the top. So holding 45 to 50 mile an hour steady the entire way up. Trans did it just fine. We just unlocked the converter. Now we're in second. There you go. I will let you guys know what the trans temp gets to by the bottom of the mountain. So funny enough, after we climbed the mountain, the trans temp actually stayed 158 to 160, which is awesome. Coolant temp went about 215. Like I said, I think we're needing either, I'm gonna throw a water pump and a new thermostat in the truck. We're gonna do a 195 T-stat and, you know, a brand new water pump, see what happens, see if that fixes my cooling issues. I'm really thinking maybe the, you know, the thermostat's clogged or something, but when we get to the bottom here, we're gonna end up back in the trailer in, but it's kind of nice to know that I was able to climb that hill. And look at that, trans temp 161, it looks like. And I did that in overdrive off, so at the top it did kick out of third gear, it unlocked it. Coolant temp is back down to 187. All right, there she is, made it back. Everything's all good. Luckily, I don't have to be the one to unload anything. Ooh. Back that up perfectly in the dark. So I'm gonna get this thing dropped and then we are done. Ready to go home. All right, we done. I'll show you guys the numbers on the dash. I'd like to get out of here. Let me make sure everything's dropped. I'm good to go. All right, there we go. 206 on the coolant temp, 172 on the trans, so we are done. Make sure we don't hit the car, and we're good to go. So I'm gonna pretty much close the video out here. I'll start on Josh's truck. Oh, you know what? I'll start on the Josh truck and some other things next week for you guys. I'm gonna try to focus on getting some videos out for you. So I hope you enjoyed. If you guys need any work, feel free to send me an email, steve@cpstevemiller.com, or just get on the website. All links down below. Get on the website, send me a message, fill out a form, and I will get back to you, and let's make it happen. So appreciate you guys for sticking around. See ya.